Welcome, good people, to day 3 of 7 books that prove hair is more than just style. And the novels are filled with stories you feel in your roots. And today the book is entitled Celestial Bodies by Joka Alhathi. So in Celestial Bodies, hair weaves through generations as quietly as memory. And this novel spans time, women, and transformation in Oman, where what's spoken is just as important as what's withheld. So, hair in this story is often wrapped, tended, braided, or noticed only in passing. However, if you look closely, it's also a thread. Hair is a thread connecting the private to the public, the private world to the public world, the past to the present, and the personal to the political. So as you read, observe how hair rituals described across different generations of women. How are the rituals described across different generations of women? Are they the same? Are they different? Have they changed with the times? Have they evolved? Have they stayed the same? Where does hair show up as a quiet form of resistance, or shows up as care or as identity? What does the presence or absence of hair tell us about change over time? Were women cutting their hair, allowed to cut their hair? The longer the hair, does it mean the more beautiful you are? So you're not just reading a family saga, you're tracing how womanhood and hair intertwine beneath the surface, how the everyday becomes legacy. So hair holds history. It holds history in silence, in style, in care, how you care for it or care for yourself. It remembers what we try to forget. Hair is never just hair. It's tradition. It's transformation. It's the invisible bridge between who we are and who we choose to become. I alluded to the fact that there are people who are going to wear certain things on their hair or wear wigs or weaves as a status symbol, because the price of a wig or a weave these days is so astronomical that for you to even afford it means that you have some sort of disposable income, or you are of a different status quo, but symbol in society. When actually, in fact, the truth of the matter is it may be contrary to that. So it's like an invisible bridge between who we are and who we choose to become. What inherited hair ritual means the most to you? I repeat, what inherited hair ritual means the most to you? Let's talk about it in the comments. And why does this ritual mean the most? What does it say about you, your family, your heritage, your culture, the country or countries you belong to? These are questions to ask yourself. This book is not necessarily just to read and then cast it aside, but to see how it mirrors maybe something in your life, or how to look at things differently, people differently, friends differently, in terms of where they come from culturally. What does hair mean in their culture? How do they attribute to hair. Like I know there's some people who always had very, very long hair. I took my friend Farah to get her first haircut. She had never cut her hair. She had long hair down to her, way below her waist, way. And I took her to a hairdresser and she cut it and she sent the hair to the, I can't remember what that company is, the company that uses the hair for chemo patients and stuff like that. Lots of love, hair of love, something of the sort. But it was something very different and new, and she still felt very beautiful because it was very sexy. It was short. It was up to her chin. But it wasn't it was a nice one length, but to the side, sexy, very nice. And she wondered how her husband would feel about it, but he was back in Bangladesh. He was going to eventually move to the States at the time, where we were. And it was just like it was like cathartic for her, I found. She was very quiet about it. And I think it grew on her as well. And I think she grew to love it, but she grew it back. She did not, I think she may have cut it several times after that, but she eventually grew it back. But I left the States at the time, so I'm not sure if she grew it back to below waist length and all that. But there's some societies where the length of hair is important. Having long hair is what you're supposed to have. Short hair is looked down upon. I found that in when I was in New Orleans, I had very short hair because I had shaved my hair just before I came to the States. And I realized this is the southern part of America, and long hair was seemed more approved, if I could say that. I felt me with my short hair, nobody could figure me out. What is she? Why is her hair short and red, and I had my hair dyed as well. And my friends usually had long hair who came from the South, so, and they really took care of their hair, and it was a showpiece. And so you see the different nuances and cultural differences and expressions when it comes to hair: political, traditional, defiance, self-expression, making a statement, making a stance and a stand. So I'm just sharing these kinds of books, not necessarily for you to run out there and go and buy them and read them, no, but just take in the different threads that hair plays in the lives of the people in the novels, and look at it from a country level, from a political level, from an economic level, from a social level. How does that relate to you, and how powerful hair is?